Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Because I got to have faith. I got to have faith.
All right, there it is. You got to have faith. I don't know about everybody that's watching. I imagine most people that watch this are with me on the power of faith. But if you're not, I can just tell you, man, it works. I've been through some serious upheaval, and that's why I started a show called Faith. It's faith that's carried me through. And we are, once again, sponsored by Pitbull Energy Drink. And if you've got the lazy, and I've got the lazy, by the way. I am by nature a very lazy person. When I was a kid, my mother used to say to me, I was a one word. It was a one word, lazy good for nothing. I heard it a billion times, but the lazy cannot stand up against this. Your room will get clean, and you'll get on the computer, and you'll write the things you want to write, and you'll send the emails you need to send, and all that stuff gets done. So try your Pitbull Energy Drink. It's really cool. All right, so today I have a last-minute kind of fill-in guest. It's kind of cool, serendipitous, and this is really an example of faith. My sound engineer is, as some of you know by now, L.A. Keys, Love Always. Her dad is L.A. Mike, who helps run this operation, but he's just Los Angeles Mike, as I understand it. But she had to go and, co-opt it to Love Always. And I'm trying to love always, but there are a lot of people I don't, not a lot. There are people I don't like. I can't deny it. But one thing I've gotten good at is letting go of the grudges. I was a mad grudge holder when I was younger. So that is the ticket to freedom, by the way. I heard that somewhere, and I really believe it. And giving forgiveness, don't mean you got to deal with the person again, but really feeling it really does free you up. It's not an easy thing to do, depending on how wronged you were and where you're from. I'm from the schoolyard in New York, and when somebody wrongs you, you wanted to go and do violence. Now, I wasn't a tough guy, but I had tough guys in my neighborhood that I could ask to go do, that guy wronged me, go talk to him and whatever. But we're adults now, and we don't want to do that, and we want to just try to move forward and continue to bring into our life people that support us and what we believe in, where we stand, and all this and that. So as it happens, oh, by the way, 323-965-1600. Call in, share with us how faith has worked for you, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, even if you're one of these people that I actually had a guy on Facebook tell me faith is stupid, even if you're one of these people, atheist, you think faith is nonsense, you don't understand blind faith. I do. I've come to understand it. You call in. I don't want to get into big conflicted arguments, but I'm willing to hear, whatever. So L.A. Keys, I talked to her this morning because I'd left my phone charger here a couple of weeks ago, and I was giving her a reminder to bring it. And she told me that her guy is a French chef. It's a fusion chef. I worked with French chefs for a long time. Monsieur Etes, and I've got great stories about me and him. And when I first started here doing faith, Ellie told me about this church. She goes all the way to Ontario to go to this particular church, and I found that really pretty amazing. But that's what people do. And I'm not here to preach to people to go to church. I'm not a churchgoer. I happen to watch Joel Osteen in the mornings. That's what I do on Sundays, and I write a lot of quotes down from him, and I've been through a lot. I keep telling people, I don't want to get into all the details. I've just been through a lot of upheaval, and faith has carried me through, and I've seen amazing things happen in terms of people coming to my aid and helping me and supporting me and not giving up on me. Although I will tell you, I've seen some people that I really got the feeling they've given up. They've lost faith in Howie, and there's nothing I can do except turn things around. And, this is one of the ways I do it. This RMC, Roscoe's Media Center, is nothing short of a miracle for me to be able to come here and do these shows. So I want to tell you one quick thing about my guest before I bring him on. He was on the phone prior to we got started with the other show. I do 2 shows in a row here on Tuesday afternoons. And he was talking to somebody about they had a run. Maybe they're looking for an apartment. I don't know. I'll ask him. But he said, I don't want to be spending $30 for you to run a credit report or whatever when I already know my credit's good or whatever. And he said these words, I do not like throwing away money. And when I tell you that I'm in a situation, I've been in a situation, it's because my whole life I have been horrendous with money management. I have thrown away a lot of money. I won money on 2 game shows. I hit it big on the market one day. You know, when I say big, I'm not talking millions. I'm talking about tens of thousands all at once. And I have thrown away a lot of money. That's all I can tell you. So it was really interesting to hear that. That clearly this is a man of responsibility, and it was like, no, dude, you know, it's $30. It's not going to make or break me, but why should I give it to you? It's unnecessary. I'm not throwing away money. I don't like to throw away money. I grew up in white, middle-class Jewish neighborhood, at least 40 people dead from the self-destruction through the abuse of drugs and alcohol. Myself, I've done my best to try to destroy myself with financial mismanagement, and it's turning around. And I was just impressed. It was like, this is, you know, people talk about God speaking to you. It's not that you hear a voice. God speaks to you through the people you encounter. And I just felt like that was kind of God speaking to me. I didn't know she had a guy that does what he does, and that is as pleasant as he is. And we're going to meet him in just a moment. But, you know, that was a call he could have made in private. He just happened to be in the studio, and he said those words, I don't like throwing away money. And I thought to myself, Howie, you might not like throwing away money, but you surely have thrown away an awful lot of money. So maybe God wanted you to hear that. And so on that note, let's meet Teddy. And, you know, I didn't get the full last name.
Teddy LeCoux.
LeCoux. Yeah. So you are, but that sounds French-Canadian.
I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, you got the Creole in you.
I got the Creole in me.
You got the Creole. So you got the true blood.
Yeah, it runs through my veins.
You got the voodoo going on.
Yeah, I like to stay away from the voodoo.
You got to stay away from that. That's why you got to go to that church in Ontario. Yeah. That voodoo is going to come. And this is your little daughter.
Oh, yeah, this is my daughter.
Well, supposedly this is his daughter. Now, L.A. Keys went 2 weeks ago to Vegas and came back with this little girl. And I said to her, so, you know, what, like 500, 1,000? How much a little girl is going for in Vegas these days? You know, but no, that's my... Now, I don't know if, but she told me something about your little girl.
Yeah,
that she was a little thrown at the new developments of living with you in L.A. And she was scared. She had a nightmare or something.
Yes.
And L.A. told her to pray before you go to bed. And she got her on the praying, and all the bad stuff went away.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct. And it really surprised me because one night I was falling asleep, and them two, they're up, you know, and Kiara, L.A. Keys, she was like, go ahead, pray before you go to sleep. And Tamaya, my daughter, she went ahead and she said the prayer by herself. And so when she woke up the next morning, she said, Daddy, L.A. Keys, I had no bad dreams. I didn't even dream.
Yeah, that's what she told me, that your daughter said she didn't even dream.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, faith is a very, very powerful thing.
You know what's funny? I tell people all the time, even those, you know, I deal in the world of comedy, they're really people that are down on Christianity, religion, the church, anything to do with God. And I just say to them, look, dude, all I can tell you is you've not walked in my shoes, and faith is a very powerful thing. And that's exactly what it is. It's very powerful. Now, if you're from Louisiana, you must have grown up. Did you grow up like in one of those churches where they do all the singing and the dancing? And
I actually grew up in a family church. It was a Baptist church. The pastor was actually old friends with my grandmother. They did a lot of singing, a lot of, you know, jumping up and down, but it wasn't too extravagant. It wasn't.
But
like
it was fun.
On TV. It was fun.
It made it fun.
It was definitely
fun. See, I grew up in the synagogue, and we only went once a year, really, what they call the high holidays. And it was very hypocritical to me because the rabbi, who I couldn't stand, it was a nasty man. He made everybody feel bad. He did say one thing that I have to agree with him. If you're going to be a good Jew, you're supposed to go to the synagogue on the Sabbath every Saturday. You're supposed to go on the Sabbath. The reason they go on the high holidays is because that's when they say God inscribes you in the book of life or the book of death.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. And so I walked away from that. I don't go to synagogue, but I've gone to churches on Easter Sunday. I've always liked that, the pomp and circumstance. I've never gotten the thing with the Vatican and the big hats and all that. I don't think God really cares personally.
He said,
but I do like the tradition. The Easter Sunday thing was always very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
But at the Baptist church, most people, their perception of Baptist is those Southern Baptists that preach the hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah, yes.
Is that what went on in your church?
They're very strong and firm, And what I've learned, when I was younger and I went to church, I really didn't understand the purpose of going to church.
Right.
But since I've got older and since I've understand what faith means, because if you knew half of what I've gone through in, from 20 to 25 years old,
right,
through those 5 years, you'll say you have to have faith.
Otherwise, right. I tell people, look, if it weren't for staying strong in faith, I'd have killed myself a long time ago. I mean, the mistakes I made. And I watched that Joel Osteen. He said one thing one day I'll never forget. There's no mistake you made that's too much for the mercy of God.
Right.
Because I've made plenty of mistakes that were too much for the mercy of me.
Right.
You get down on yourself. Right. You get very self-hateful. Mm-hmm. It's no good. And if that happens, then you'd start opening your bottle of vodka.
You are your own worst critic.
You are your own worst critic. And your ego's working against you.
Yes.
Right?
All the time, especially when you think about the mistakes that you made. And before you made those mistakes, you heard that little voice in your head say, don't do it. But you go ahead and do it anyway. Like probably I remember you were saying about throwing away a lot of money.
Right.
In the back of your head, you probably had something say, you know what, I shouldn't do it, but I have it. Why not?
Part of my problem was I lived on the hit by a truck theory because I was raised by a dad that didn't talk to you like a normal person. He just screamed things out. And my financial education was, save for the future, just out of the blue. He'd scream, save for the future, because he was a Depression-era dad, and he was a neurotic New York Jewish guy. And he worked hard, God bless him. And he was a compassionate guy, he had a good heart. But because of the way he drilled that and never let it go, when I got older and I got credit, I was like, I watched him work, and work hard and sacrifice. That was all he would talk about. I was like, I'm living, man.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I knew, I was going bankrupt.
Yeah.
And
see, your dad probably taught you about credit, yes?
No, not a word.
Did?
That was the thing. Just save for the future. That was it. Yeah. I can only tell you with your daughter, as soon as she's 10, 12, you start talking to her about money management and credit and understanding that the credit card companies have every intention of putting you in debt the day you turn 18 and keeping you there till the day you're dead and buried.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. Like you, my father never taught me about debt or credit cards or credit, period. All he told me was save. Well, save for what? What am I saving for? The future? Okay. What's the future? And it was to a point where I tell L.A. Keys, I say when I want it, I want it.
Right, instant gratification.
Right. I don't feel nothing like I don't feel that anything in this world can tell me when I can have it and how I can have it. Is if I want it and if I know I can get it, I'm gonna go ahead and get it.
Right.
Because I deserve it.
But do you get it with the money you've collected and saved, or do you get it on a credit card and then do what I did and have 17 credit cards that had $12 minimums or $50 minimums? Next thing you know, you have $560 a month in minimums.
Right.
And you can't keep up with it.
Well, I do it with the money that I saved up. I only use my credit card for emergencies.
So you're responsible with money. Well, you have a kid, so you have to. I don't have any kids, so that's a different deal. My friends, all that have kids, they're amazing men. I just am astonished at how responsible they've been. Even before they had the kids, my one friend, his dad was a mad gambler. He was a chef like you.
Oh yeah.
And my pal is the exact opposite of his dad in regards to money. He is so responsible. He is so good. He's raised a great family. He's got 2 homes. He's in a big position in the liquor wine business. I just am so impressed with him. And I'm like, I just want to find a way to start generating some serious income so I can now apply all the things I've learned through my mistakes.
That's where your faith comes in.
That's exactly correct.
That's where your faith comes in, because if you say I have it, and you push forward to that, just exactly what you said. I have faith. I have great income. I know I can get it. It's mine. Not it will be mine, but it's mine.
Right.
You speak on it, and you not only do
Yes.
you speak on it, but you work on what you spoke on.
Yeah, you have to back it up with action.
Yes.
You can't just. That was that secret thing that came out. Saturday Night Live did a spoof on it.
Oh, yeah?
Where they had this like big. One of the girls, this big heavy set girl with like 3 teeth, and she goes, I read The Secret, and now I just believe every day that I'm going to marry Brad Pitt. He's going to leave Angelina for me.
Well,
and it's like you can't just. But what you were just saying, Joel Osteen says, and I guess this is from the Bible again, and I've said this numerous times on the show. I really don't know the Bible that well. I know the uplifting scriptures that Joel shares. But one thing he says is it's in the Bible, I believe, call the things that are not as if they already were.
Right.
And what you just said is so true. I have it. I earn this much a week. But you can't just say it. You got to get up and do the things that can lead to getting it.
Right.
And so for me, this is a huge thing, doing these podcasts. And I met a girl at a pool party on Sunday that has a show on 540. You got to pay to be on there, but she's got some sponsors. She does social issues. She does addiction. So it's very proprietary. But she was working my nerves, man. I'll tell you. It was like bragging and telling me how much money she made in 43 minutes. And I said, listen, I've done my show 5 times, the Faith Show. The other one 12 times. They're not charging me. They're not. They're sponsoring me with their energy drink.
Right.
And we've got a future.
Right.
And well, that's not good enough for me. I'm like, I had to bite my tongue. She was very abrasive. It was. So, but your backup of your belief and your faith is in your skills and talents as a fusion chef. Is that correct?
Chef, yes.
And you learned that from the family, or you went to school, or?
Well, I go to school at Le Cordon Bleu.
Oh, you do go
Yes,
to Le Cordon
I do
Bleu.
go to Le
Well,
Cordon
that's as
Bleu.
prestigious as you get.
Yeah, in Pasadena. I attend college there.
That's awesome.
And not only that, but I've been around food ever since I've been a little kid.
Oh, no, quite. If you were in Louisiana, I
Yeah.
mean, food is a huge thing there.
My mother was a master chef.
She was.
She was a master chef. Her name was Jean Lecoux. And our Thanksgivings, our Christmases, any holiday was
Just feasts.
feast. And the thing about it was she cooked so good that my friends and my brother friends, they would come over and they would feast. Leftovers was a massive. My football team, because I played football at that point in time, my whole football team would come over and
They just went.
let's eat.
You know what? I was in France for 10 days. When I worked in a restaurant, I worked with a French chef, and I worked with his sous chef, Monsieur Baquet, Clément. And Clément's mother owned a hotel on the lake in Bordeaux.
Okay.
And there was a lady that used to come in that was a soap opera star that just loved me. And she was going to be in England at the time, and it was her brother's bar mitzvah. So we set it up. So I was in France 10 days. One thing, let me say this. I was in France 10 days. I woke up drunk 9. At the time, I was drinking wine. Red wine was great. And you go to the newsstand, red wine. You go to the laundromat, there's red wine. There's red wine everywhere. But when they fed us at his mom's house, it was like it's a 7-course meal, family style, platters of just veal and lamb and fish, and then the cheese at the end and the desserts, which, by the way, you didn't bring me any desserts today. A little upset on that one. But
so
when you're
sorry.
at Cordon Bleu, you don't just train for chef of cooking main courses. You train the pastry part.
Yes.
And all of it, right?
Yes. They not just the we do different styles of cooking or creating, and we do as well as baking and different crafts of that sort. What they train us to do is be prepared for the outside world.
Right.
And when I hit Foundations 3, which is the third semester, my chef at the time, he said, we're not playing little kids no more. And he said, you're going to make 4 dishes within this hour, because
That's what you got to do in a restaurant.
Exactly. If you have somebody out front and they're hungry, they don't want to wait
They don't
an
wanna hear
hour for
stories
their,
either. Yeah.
They want it. Not only do they want it when they want it, like when you want it, you want it.
When I want to eat, I want to eat.
You want to eat, but they want craft into it. They want
Yes.
art into it.
Especially in this day and age
Exactly.
with all these high-end chefs and these celebrity
It's one thing to
chefs.
rush a meal and get it out to the guests.
Right.
And the food to be, not top notch. But it's another thing to charge a great deal for that dish, have it out in a proper amount of time, and have it where they don't even want to eat it right away. They just want
Right,
to
the
look at it.
presentation is everything.
They're like, geez, let me take a couple pictures of this and let other people
Right.
see what I'm about to eat.
Right,
You
and
know?
that's what people are doing this day and age. On
Right,
Facebook, you see
yes.
pictures of great food. In fact, they call it food porn.
Food porn, yes, that's exactly what it is. They're getting naughty with food.
No, the chef I worked with, I worked with him when I was younger. Me and 130 pounds of fighting Irish fury, Kevin McGrath, we were phenomenal as waiters. We moved like lightning, and it was an open kitchen. So one thing chefs do not want is to see their food sitting
No.
on, no heat lamps. They don't want to see it sitting.
No.
When it's ready, they want you there.
Right.
And we were there, and we could handle like 12 tables each. He couldn't. He hated, French chefs, they hate waiters, right? And he hated the ways. He just thought they were all lazy and they all want to be actors. But we were in it for the money. We were on the hustle for the money. So we moved, and he just could not believe in. To this day, I go to the restaurant they own, California Canteen. It's over in Universal City. Great, beautiful. You should go in there. You'd get a kick out of it. It looks like you're in a French cafe. It looks like you're in a cafe in Paris somewhere.
Really?
The artwork, the way it's decorated. And they won't take my money. I have my retirement plan. I worked with them for many years. But the presentation, that I'll never forget. You didn't just take the plate away. If he saw anything wrong with the way that plate looked,
Yes.
you just stop. And he expected the way the servers were supposed to know to look at that plate and know that it's ready to go.
Yes.
And he didn't care for servers that didn't care enough to look.
Right. Because it's one thing, before that dish goes out to the guest, it should be expected at least 4 or 5 times before that plate even gets to the guest. The chef himself is supposed to expect the guest, expect the meal and the plate, and on the way out, the server or the busboy is supposed to check it and look as he's walking to the table. Make sure as the meal is placed and presented the way it's put down.
It's got to elicit that, especially at higher end places, when the food goes down. You want to elicit that, ooh, it looks too good to even bite into it. It's
Right.
like a piece of art. That's the idea.
Right.
Now, you're training there, but are you're working at a particular restaurant? Are you working like privately as a private chef for people, or?
Well, actually, the funny thing about that is I've worked for Brownstone Bistros. I've worked for My Two Cents.
What is that? The fork plus the knife equals love.
The fork plus the knife equals the love, and what that basically means is the love of food.
Yes, people love food.
And and it's a real great place. It's a vegan and vegetarian restaurant. It's actually on Pico and Crenshaw, right on the corner. Curson. I'm sorry, Pico and Curson. And it's a really great place.
It's a vegan
It's
vegetarian place.
yes.
It's vegan at Pico and Curson.
Yeah, Curson.
And what's it called?
My Two Cents.
My Two Cents.
It's a really great place, and they serve meat there too as well. Dishes meat like the oxtail taco, which is extremely delicious.
Really?
Yes. The turkey burger, which is also delicious. Oh man.
What's the price range like over there?
The price range is really
Moderate?
affordable. It's really affordable. People go. The thing about it is, the presentation is great. The love of the presenting the food is great. And after you finish eating your food, you're like, geez,
You're done.
it's good. You
Yeah.
know, and oh my goodness, Reezy, the sister of the chef / owner. Oh, she makes some pastries out this world.
Oh, and you didn't bring
Out
me
this
any. You
world.
didn't bring me any of those out of the world
I'm
pastries.
gonna definitely have to bring it back.
Okay.
But I also work at. I just started working at Doucette. It's a hotel restaurant.
Yeah, I've heard of that place.
And,
Where's that place at? That's
also
familiar.
in Pasadena.
Okay,
You know,
I've
it's
done
in
some
Pas-
murder mystery shows out that
Yeah.
way. Maybe that's why. And the
Yeah.
Ice House is out there.
Right.
Is it on like Colorado or
Exactly. It's
Yeah, okay.
exactly on Colorado.
Yeah.
And me and LA Keys was looking for we was going house shopping yesterday. And as we was walking out the house, they had this dude, he was walking in. And he looked at me, he said, "You go to Loco on Blue?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You looking for a job?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm always looking for a job." So he gave me his card, and he said, "Give me a call, and I'll look at you. I'll see what's up with you." I said, "Okay." And it was at this country club. And I was like, and LA Keys was like, "You're like a walking resume." You know?
How did he know you went to Le Cordon Bleu?
I had my
you
my
had the
uniform
shirt
on.
on. That's
Yeah.
smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
All right, listen. I'm glad. No, it's good to hear about that. That's awesome. You know, I work the front end of the restaurant, but I wanted to hear about the church in Ontario. What's the name of the church in Ontario?
OCC.
Just
Christian
O-
Center. It's OCC Christian Center.
And
Ontario Christian Center.
Ontario
but it's-
Christian Center. And what compelled? How did you guys find that you chose to drive? Because you don't live in Ontario.
No.
So you drive a little out of the way every Sunday to go to
Yes.
this particular church.
Yes.
She's the what? What does she do?
Oh, my girlfriend LA Keys has been at Ontario Christian Center since 10 years old.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
And so she brought you there.
And she brought me there because I moved from Texas.
Oh, you lived in Texas.
Yeah, I lived in Texas. Like I said, from 20 to 25, you'll be surprised what a young man like myself been through,
Right.
because of faith. And I moved out from Texas to Los Angeles, and I told LA Keys, I said, you know what? I want to get closer to God. You know, I want to understand. Not religion, but relationship.
Right. It's a whole different. There's a huge difference between being religious, ultra-religious, dedicatedly religious, and having a personal relationship with God.
Right.
A huge difference.
Right. And see, that's what people misunderstood is, you know, they were like, well, I'm religious. Well, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, there's too many. It's the rules and the things. Like I just knew from growing up in that synagogue, it just doesn't. I'm a guy that likes things that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things they say and ask and require, it doesn't make sense. And I'm not really big on sin. I don't like even Joel Osteen, who I like, does talk about sin. Not a lot. He's certainly not a guy that he wants people to feel good. But I've flipped through and I've caught some of these other guys on TV that are known, and it's just like, dude, just calm down. People want to feel good.
Right.
You know, they need to be uplifted, not be brought more into deeper despair. There's 90 million people unemployed.
Right.
So we got to wrap it up. And what do you want to tell people about? Tell them can they find you on Facebook if they want to hire you as a personal chef for a party or something?
Oh yeah, most definitely. My Facebook is Chef Lacou.
Spell that. You got to spell that.
CHEF LOCUE, or you can also find me at TLOCUE@gmail.com.
Wait, is that LOCUE capital CUE or just
LOCUE?
Locou.
Yeah.
Locou.
Yes, or you
Do
can
you speak the French fluently?
my dad speaks French fluently. I just know how to say like a word or two, maybe.
Okay.
you
Je
know.
parle français un peu. I tell all my French friends, je suis le boucher de la langue française, which means I speak French a little. I am the butcher of the French language.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so that's how they find you on Facebook. Is there a Twitter thing or anything you want to give to promote?
I have an Instagram as well that also shows the different types of foods I make or the dishes I make.
Oh, they can see the pictures.
Yeah,
that's important.
Right,
That's
they can see
important.
the pictures and they can see how I basically how I live my life and what I do, and that's also Chef Lacou, CHEF LOCUE, lowercase all. And you can also find me at Teddy Lacou as well on Instagram.
Teddy LeCoux.
Yes.
Teddy LeCoux. Is it really Theodore?
No, it's Teddy.
It's just straight out Teddy.
I'm unique. I'm unique.
And you came out of the bayou in Louisiana.
Straight out the bayou.
Straight out of the bayou. Okay, are we wrapping it up? Okay, we're wrapping it up. You get this. For those of you not in this game, this means, wrap it up, Howie. Come on, move it along. Would you please get it done? All right, my
that
buddy,
or
good
that.
having you.
Thank you so much.
That's a smart move, wearing the cordon bleu T-shirt.
Yes.
So that led to that job for you.
Yes. It
Excellent.
definitely.
All right, I'm looking forward to eating some of your food.
Oh, most definitely.
All right, drink your Pitbull energy drink. Go find it and eat your Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. That's some good stuff, man.
Yes.
Okay? Thank you. And remember, as always, God bless you and keep the faith. Okay?
I gotta have faith.